Mike from Mike's Carburetor Parts. I want to talk about the vacuum passages on the Quadrajet carburetor. So if there's no vacuum at one of the ports, or you're having vacuum troubles, here are some possible reasons. A clogged or blocked vacuum passage. The internal vacuum passages or ports on the Quadrajet may be clogged with dirt, carbon deposits, or old fuel residue. Over time, these contaminants can obstruct the passage, preventing proper vacuum flow to that specific port. I use spray carb cleaner. Make sure you wear goggles or glasses to spray through each vacuum passage to make sure it goes all the way through. And as you can see, I got some dirt here out of it, so that's good. It also tells you where the vacuum's going through. Okay, so that could be helpful. So incorrect port selection is another thing. Quadrajet carburetors can have both ported vacuum and manifold vacuum ports, and what the difference is, manifold vacuum comes directly from the intake. So for example, this one needs full vacuum at idle, and so this here, you see it came out right here, so it's below the throttle valves, so that's non-ported. Ported means the vacuum to a certain port may not come into play until you open the throttles a little bit. Okay, so that is engine vacuum. So you got manifold vacuum, then you got engine vacuum, and that occurs when the valves are open. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, on some distributors, you need a ported type. That means at idle, you're not going to get any vacuum, and the vacuum doesn't come in play until you speed up a little bit, and so that might be why you're not getting vacuum at that particular port. So a vacuum leak can also cause, somewhere else, can cause a vacuum problem at a port, say here. So if you had a vacuum leak at the flange gasket here, that might relate to this not having any vacuum. So I like to take a flat file and put it across here to see if there's any real high spots. Also, you can spray carburetor cleaner around it while it's running. Also spray carburetor cleaner around the shafts to see if the shafts are too worn. And if they are, you're going to have to put bushings in it, which require a reamer or machine shop's best to do that. Anyhow, as you spraying carb cleaner around it, if the RPM changes or smooths out, then you know that's where a vacuum leak is. So that is a possibility. And also don't forget about the intake manifold could be leaking. Lines going to, let's say, a power brake or something like that. That could be a problem. All right, so if the carburetor has been rebuilt or modified, then your gasket could be wrong on, let's say, on your throttle body gasket, and it may be covering up a vacuum line. So there again, follow all your passages with spray cleaner, and you can take the throttle body apart and make sure that it's going through everywhere, okay, and that the gasket's not covering it up, and also that the gasket is not allowing a vacuum leak. Okay, there's other possibilities. I already talked about a warped carb base. Throttle plate position. If the throttle plate's not properly aligned or adjusted, it can affect the vacuum signal to some ports. Incorrect idle adjustments or binding throttle blades can also be the cause. Improperly plugged ports. If a port was intentionally accidentally blocked off, like with a plug, there would be no vacuum at that port. This is common when vacuum ports are not needed for certain applications and are sealed off. So you might have a carburetor a Quadrajet that's been transplanted, and let's say this one here, I'm not sure whether this goes to the canister or where exactly, you can see it's plugged off here, but if somebody went inside and let's say soldered it shut, and your car needs it, then you're not going to get any vacuum here. So that's something to watch for. I've seen that before. I've seen check balls get stuffed in here for whatever reason. People have different reasons for doing that. So anyhow, so you're, like I say, spraying carb cleaner through these passages can really be a telltale, so keep that in mind. Alright, so I hope that helps you with the Quadrajet vacuum someone and looking for problems with it. You can buy parts for this at mikescarb.com. We appreciate your business and thank you for watching this.